Hey guys, this is going to be our first Rant series placing 2 episodes mashed, so sit back, relax and enjoy. The show, character / etc. More like, mean nickname, format is one of the laziest and most obnoxious forms of criticism on the internet. It isn't clever, it isn't funny, and it definitely isn't insightful. It's just a cheap word swap meant to sound like a joke while avoiding the effort of actually explaining what's wrong with something. What makes this format especially bad is that it pretends to be satire without doing any of the work satire requires. There's no analysis, no exaggeration with purpose, no point being made. It's just, I don't like this thing, so I'm going to rename it in a childish way and act like that counts as a critique. It doesn't spark discussion, it shuts it down immediately. It also gets old fast. Once you've seen one X, more like Y comment, you've seen them all. They're predictable, repetitive, and usually come from the same mindset that thinks being mean automatically equals being funny. Instead of making people laugh or think, it just makes the person using it look unoriginal and bitter. Worse, this format often gets used to bully rather than criticize. It reduces entire shows, characters, or creators to a cheap insult and encourages pile-ons instead of conversation. There's a big difference between tearing into something with actual arguments and just slapping a cruel nickname on it for attention. At the end of the day, real criticism requires effort. If someone can't explain why they dislike something beyond a renamed insult, then they're not offering an opinion worth engaging with. More like jokes don't make a point, they just advertise a lack of creativity and depth. Now let's move on to the T-Series rant. The whole T-Series phenomenon is a perfect example of how corporate influence can make a platform feel cold and impersonal. It's not about creativity, connection, or community, it's about numbers, scale, and relentless output. The channel doesn't build relationships with fans, it doesn't encourage discussion, and it doesn't interact in any meaningful way. It just uploads videos constantly, dominates algorithms, and treats YouTube less like a creative space and more like a distribution machine. What's especially frustrating is how this translates to the perception of authenticity. T-Series doesn't feel human. Subscriber counts skyrocket, comment sections are flooded with generic praise, and engagement often looks more automated than organic. Whether or not bots are actually involved, the channel comes across as manufactured and soulless, which is why so many people criticize it. It's also a giant obstacle for smaller creators. When a corporate machine like T-Series floods the platform, it drowns out content that actually takes effort and imagination. Instead of rewarding originality, YouTube's system ends up favoring mass production and algorithm-friendly uploads. That's why the backlash exists, not because T-Series is popular, but because it represents a system where numbers matter more than creativity or community. Even so, T-Series dominance is a reminder of a bigger issue. YouTube has room for both corporate channels and creators, but the algorithm often amplifies the former at the expense of the latter. It's not about hating T-Series itself, it's about recognizing what it symbolizes: growth without personality, engagement without interaction, and success driven more by scale than by talent or originality. Good thing MrBeast surpassed them somewhere around 2024, because at least that shift showed that personality, creativity, and audience connection can still win out over sheer corporate force. Until then, T-Series was a perfect example of how soulless numbers can make a channel massive yet completely hollow.